welcome to episode 41 of On Second Thought with Mike and Matt. Coming to you live on Sunday, September 14th, bright and early, 9 a.m. in the morning here, Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
A lovely, crisp fall day outside, I bet. Gonna go for a beautiful walk before the football starts in a little bit. But in the meantime, we bring you our next installment of our podcast, and I want to thank Matt for pulling himself away from Hollow Knight Silk Song. He's been so, we were a day or two delayed because he's so embedded in that game, and he's got, bosses he's trying to beat, and it's really taken over his life. So we thank Matt for pulling himself away for a little bit and being here.
I don't think anyone had this on their bingo list for me to play this year, and for me to say it's going to be my game of the year. I'm pretty sure everybody is going to be amazed at that.
Wowed and amazed.
Exactly. Just like me with the game.
It has been a Silk Song world in the gaming space, but now Borderlands 4 is here. And Matt and I will share lots of thoughts about Borderlands 4 in just a few minutes. In the meantime, Matt, I came across this story of one of the cheapest things I've heard someone do. Now, for those who have been paying attention and keeping score, Matt has some great ones. Like he had a car one time that when he put the AC on, it would, the gas, he wasn't getting good gas mileage, so he never put the air conditioning on in that vehicle. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And then there's the famous couch delivery.
Yes.
Yeah, wouldn't pay.
Yeah, didn't want to pay the $20 delivery fee.
Yeah. So let me know, Matt, if you're cooking up any more cheap ones. But in the meantime, I'll tell you this story I came across on Instagram. This younger guy follows his grandfather around. And the guy's very frugal, saves everything, blah, blah, blah. And he was out driving with him. And he says, when I'm in the left-hand turn lane, everybody knows I'm turning. So I don't need to keep the directional light on the whole time. So I put the directional light on right as I'm about to turn so I can save some of the bulb life on
Jesus Christ
in the vehicle.
No. For one thing, in Ohio, that's illegal. You are to indicate you're turning your turn signal on, or put your hand out the window. That's still a valid form of communication in Ohio. That's not going to happen. Absolutely not. That's dumb.
So I was thinking to myself, what cheap things I do, and I did one thing I came up with, Matt. If I'm going to have the same drink all day, whether it's water or iced tea, I use the same glass all day.
Yep.
Now, by the end of the day, it's not a great looking glass. I must admit, a lot of handprints on it,
Mm-hmm.
But I am not one like other members of my family. Every time they go get a drink, it's a new glass. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm the same way. This coffee cup here, this is the same coffee cup I've used since Friday. So, like Friday, I worked from home and I made coffee. I used this cup. And when I was done, I just put it next to the coffee maker. Saturday, when I was done, just put it next to the coffee maker. And then, and speaking of money, Mike, did you just hear what happened in the background?
No, I did not.
Bar put the air conditioning unit on because it's supposed to kind of warm up today and this week. Mm-hmm. The air conditioner's on. I just heard it kick on. Live action, money just going out the window.
that is a good topic to discuss because I have over the 7 or 8 years I've lived here now, getting more and more used to the central air, and I have adopted the practice of set it and forget it. Don't go adjusting it, and blah blah blah. And so we've left it at 72. Predominantly. And so it's not coming on as frequently because it's getting cold at night. It's in the low 40s, high 50s at night. I mean, the high 40s, low 50s at night. And then through the course of the day, as it gets warmer, it kicks on here and there.
Sure. Now you don't open the windows in your house, do you? Like on a nice, cool morning, cool night, windows stay closed in your house. You don't have the screens, so the bugs will come in, don't they?
I have screens in all my windows. The problem living in the woods like I do, the little insects can get through the screens. When I look at the 3 windows behind my couch in my living room or TV room, whatever you want to call it, the bugs must be attracted to the light from that room and the TV.
Sure.
And the windowsills I got to clean every few weeks. It's just covered in those little bugs that can get through the. And I have normal screens, and they're still worming their way through. So they would be in my house. But to your question, during the day, I'm usually down here, looking for jobs, doing whatever, and there's no windows here for me to open.
Right.
Lynn now, where she works upstairs on the first floor, we have sliding doors that go out to the backyard. She'll open those up to get a breeze in. But I just I have 30 plus windows in my house. I don't I'll open the windows in the bathroom, let it breeze in while I'm in there and things like that. But I don't keep them open all day, just for the bug factor.
Right. Yeah.
Now, if I was living in a more residential area, a more suburban area, I would leave them open.
Sorry. Yeah. No. So we usually, like in the cool mornings and the evenings, especially this time of year, because it's been cool the past couple weeks. We'll have the windows open. Nice breeze, nice cross breeze goes through the house. Cats love it and that. It's supposed, like I said, it's supposed to warm up this week some, but I don't think it's going to get that hot that we have to put the AC on. I think we can just live with it in the afternoon sometimes because it's going to cool down at night. But hey, who am I guess. So.
Yep. So yours doesn't just turn on like a thermostat. You got to press a button.
No, well, that's what she turned the thermostat. I mean, we can turn the whole system off. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And then the thermostat now will control the rest. So we just had the whole system turned off except for the fan. We have the fan that's constantly blowing air through the house. Whatever the house temperature is, just constantly, just keeping things fresh. Right.
Yeah.
And it goes through the filter and all that. But now, she turned the system on, so the thermostat will control from here. What she has the thermostat set at, I have no idea. I have to go up and inspect that myself as soon as the show is done and make sure it's at the proper temperature of my liking.
So we have, throughout the house, it's like 5 zones. And it's got the honey, those Honeywell things that just plug into the, And, so we just set those to 72. I could turn the system off from there as well. You could say cooling off or whatever.
Yeah, with our house, we just have one central thermostat and everything that kind of takes care of everything. It's in a bad spot, though. I've been looking. Need to get like a remote or something to put somewhere because it's in a bad spot where sometimes the air doesn't circulate well. So it'll be like cold and so the heat thinks it needs to keep running and running even though the house is warm. And same thing with the air conditioner, might get a little warm in that area, so it runs. So I need to, sometimes I'll put a fan there to help blow air through. But I need to look at like a remote sensor or something to put somewhere that'll help control that thermostat.
When we moved in here, we have a fireplace that is it's a gas fireplace, and the guy was like, "You got to be careful with that if you're using it as like not so much as a heating source, but leaving it on to get more heat in the house, you can have a false positive with the system will think the house is already warmed because of that fireplace, and then your heating system won't come on, and then it's how you can get your pipes will freeze. If it just feels if you're just leaving that on for a prolonged time. I thought that was a little interesting, but probably not true at the same time. But whatever.
I doubt it's going to get that cold. I mean, for it to get that cold, your other heating system would turn on.
Yeah, because it would be colder in other parts of the house.
Yeah, and that's like us. We got the fireplace. And when we've got a fire going, our furnace, won't kick on at all until the evening. But with that fan, again, with that fan blowing, it's stuck in that warm area and blowing it through the house also from the fireplace.
Now, can you hear that fan?
No. I mean, if it was quiet down here, I could probably hear, running. But when it's running like now with the AC unit, it's actually forcing air through. Yeah, you can hear a little bit of something, but when it's just constantly running, you don't hear it.
So you're not talking about the fan. That's not the unit outside is not that fan isn't running. You're saying there's the central air unit that's in your house has a fan in it, and that's one that's moving.
Yes. Yeah. My heat pump is going right now. Well, air conditioner heat pump's going right now because Barb just put the AC on. But the furnace, I call it the furnace, the blower and everything inside that's what's always blowing, and it'll ramp up or slow down depending on what it's calling for.
See, I have two separate units. I have central air, and then I have an actual heating furnace because I have oil. But anyway,
ours is
That concludes this old house segment.
Yes.
Segment.
Thanks, Bob.
The other news we should get on to is that it is mid-September already. And Windows is saying they are stopping support of Windows 10 come October, and I'm getting inundated to upgrade to Windows 11 here.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to stop the security updates. And all these people, it's kind of like, remember Y2K? It's kind of like it hasn't reached that level of hysteria yet, but the industry sources are saying you don't want to leave your systems vulnerable. And again, who knows if that's getting people worried for no reason or not, but I need to upgrade this podcasting machine to Windows 11, and I got to figure out, I don't want to upload all this podcast stuff that I have to OneDrive, because I don't want OneDrive all of a sudden when I turn on my gaming PC to have all my podcast stuff over there, because that gaming PC is really just like a console at this point, Matt. I have never surfed the web on that thing. I just plug it in to use Steam. And I don't want any of that stuff coming over there. So I got to figure out where I'm going to move all of this stuff, or can I just do the update and hope it doesn't fuck anything up? Like, I know there's one of those updates you can say, leave my files alone and just do the OS or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I've been using Windows 11 forever. At work, all the computers have been upgraded to Windows 11 at work now, and everything's working fine. And some of the software we have at work is pretty demanding, and everything seems to be working good. There's been, obviously a few hookups there and there. I'm not saying it's been 100% perfect, but there's been some people where the upgrade didn't go as planned or something. I think that's the difference, like what you're talking about, upgrading to Windows 11 instead of buying a PC that's specifically Windows 11. There is a difference there, I think. Yeah.
So, the main thing is I just don't want to lose all my stuff. And,
right.
Where am I moving this stuff to the cloud? What cloud? Because I don't want it populating on the other PC.
Correct. Yeah.
So I got to wrap my head around that. But so this could be the last show, folks. If all that stuff goes poof up in the ether, it's been a hell of a ride, right?
Be nice knowing you, Mike.
Yep. But yeah, so that's on my list of things to do over here over the next couple of weeks. Every time, what's pissing me off is I had this machine for work as well 2 jobs ago. And you know how Microsoft, 365 is like a subscription thing, now for Word, Excel, and all that stuff.
Right.
Well, since I don't work for that company anymore, I don't have the subscription. But I could just, it might happen during the podcast here. It opens up Word for me. I don't have anything, I'm not doing anything. It opens up Word and says, it's asking me to subscribe to Microsoft 365, even though I've signed out of that work thing. It's my own. It's my own. Personal email that's in their Word now, but it keeps opening it up at random times, saying, we noticed you don't have a subscription. Please, renew or continue your subscription. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
which annoys the fuck out of me.
Yeah. Yep, I hear you there.
So we'll see what happens with the upgrade. Maybe Bricko is listening. He can give me some words of wisdom if there's any thing I should do other than just go for it and just say, don't touch my files. Just update the operating system. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
I do not want to be around you when you're doing that.
No. Let's see. Today is Sunday, so week 2 of the football season. Traditionally, when we've podcasted in the past, Matt, whether bad fodder figures or 40 cast, we've had some little Super Bowl prediction. Do you have a prediction, sir, for this year? Who the 2 teams are going to be?
Well, obviously, I got to say Bengals, right? So, I'm going to say them. Is that realistic? No. I think realistically in the AFC, it's going to be Bills or Ravens. Hopefully the Bills. NFC, very well could be the Eagles again, but I think Green Bay has turned around pretty good, and I think Green Bay has got a good shot to go all the way. At least definitely for the playoffs. Not sure all the way to the Super Bowl, but I'm going with Green Bay and Bengals.
Okay, very good, very good. I'm going to go with Buffalo, Green Bay.
Yep.
That's a safe bet. I think those 2 teams are. They might be peaking too early, Matt. Week 2, they look headed.
Yeah. Yeah.
My Patriots, I predicted were going to go 5-12 after the week 1 performance. I might bump that down to 3-14. I don't know. They just look like a sad sack, and I think the current regime has sent the message. Because this is their first year in charge, this new head coach and his front office people. Essentially, anybody that I didn't bring in, you're on notice, and that includes even you. That includes even you, Drake May. That if you're not up to the, they just got rid of a 2nd-round pick yesterday, traded him to the Saints. They have 2 picks from last year left on the team. Everybody else has either been cut, released, traded, whatever. So I think it's going to be a slow rebuild here to get all the pieces in place that Vrabel and his front office guys want.
Bengals will be going 11-6.
11-6. That should get you into the playoffs. I think the Patriots and Bengals play again this year. Of course, last year we stunned you on opening week.
Yeah. It's a horrible opening couple weeks the Bengals had. I think we went 0-4 last year.
I want to say the Chiefs play the Eagles today, or tonight, or at some point this week.
Yeah.
And they're already 0-1. They lost that game in Brazil. And now the Chiefs are playing the Bills, and so they could very easily be 0-2.
I would love to see it.
I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
And of course, when we're talking football, that means it's Madden season, and a beautiful cover this year. I love that. The guy from the Eagles, Barkley, of course, that famous run he did where he did that amazing leap.
Yep.
It's a great cover shot. But when I want to talk a little bit about sports games is, my middle son is, into sports and gaming at the same time. And so he traditionally played the Maddens, the NBA 2Ks, and the MLB The Shows. He's 17. He'll soon be here 18 in a few months. And he is already wise to the game not to be buying these games annually. First of all, he's funny. He won't buy certain games if the cover athlete, even though he's buying the game digitally, if the cover athlete is not of his liking. But more importantly, he says, Dad, just roster updates and a lot of the, and he's in the Xbox ecosystem. And so he says, not only is it just, by and large, like roster updates, with a few tweaks here and there, everything will be on Game Pass by, January. So why spend the $70? And I think my point here is if a 17-year-old is already well acquainted with the workings of these sports games, there's going to be people that are dyed-in-the-wool Madden and 2K, and they're going to buy those games. But boy,
yeah, I mean, this has been years and years. People have been talking about this, where these games, it's just a roster update, and yeah, sure. I mean, there's graphical tweaks here and there, but again, it's baseball, it's basketball, it's football, right? It's not like the game changes, right? It's still football, it's still basketball, it's still baseball, right? So, I mean, you can tweak maybe game mechanics, you can animations, maybe try and add a little more razzle dazzle or something to the game, but when you come down to it, it's not like the game of football changes or the game of baseball changes. There's certain things you can add, maybe franchise modes and stuff like that, but yeah, it is mostly a roster update. And for many years, I would buy the new games every year, and play them. But yeah, I don't blame them. I don't blame a lot of people for passing out on some of these games here. And like you said, there's going to be these every year, these diehards that, all right, the new Madden, got to get it, and they bitch and complain about it. It's like, well, shit, you bought the game knowing what you're going to get.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because it keeps people employed, putting out an annual game, EA, all those thousands of people that are involved in getting those games pushed out. And in this day and age, if you can stay employed. And so I don't bemoan EA to doing that. It's keeping the wheel of economics going and keeping those people employed. And there's a lot of things, not just the people making the games, but the marketers. All those things have a good effect on the economy. But yeah, at the same time, it does feel somewhat, I guess, at times predatory in nature that it is just an incremental bump in the price. If you would think with all these subscriptions that have been going on, that the sports games haven't figured out, we've had this debate many times. What's better, getting the customer to pay the $60, $70 per game, or having some subscription, and Microsoft's going through those pains right now of figuring out, because it hasn't reached 100 million people that they suspected. They're stuck in the 30 million. And what's better over the long haul? And so I was like, why isn't there I know there's EA has their own thing. What is it? Whether EA Plus or EA something.
EA Play, right? EA Play.
Does that get you? I'm not sure if that gets you the game free or a discount. I can't remember.
Not at first. It gets you a discount, I think. It's not a very big discount. But after a while, it comes there sooner than it does to other places for free.
I often wonder why 2K or EA doesn't have some sort of sports subscription for their games that you could subscribe to, and you can get all those games and roster updates. But they obviously have people that have crunched the numbers and say it's better for us to ask the customer to pay $70 annually than $15, $20 a month. It works out better for us that way.
Probably, yeah. One thing that surprised me too about these sports games, especially Madden, because everyone talks about it, is after all these years, all the bugs that are still in these games and just crazy things that happen. Well,
because they just have to keep iterating on it, and they don't have time to. I imagine. Yeah. When did Madden come out?
Oh God, way back in the early '90s.
No. I mean, this year, 3-4 weeks ago. Usually comes out.
Back in late July, August, something like that.
So yeah. So I would imagine, Matt, by end of the year, early next year, they have a team that just updates the existing game, but the bulk of the team has turned their attention to the new Madden. If not already. I mean, I don't know how they work. Maybe they already have people working on the new Madden. I would imagine if it's less than a year that it's got to come out, you already have people working on whatever they get, at least storyboarding it and putting teams in silos and putting, some sort of Kanban board together to map out, the projects. And, I imagine that if no one is actually doing hands-on coding right now, they're at least in that stage of, and they probably got it down to a science already. They do these things annually.
Well, again, you think they would have it down to a science because it's football. If football just doesn't change, the game will change. With maybe some graphic things and uniforms and stuff like that. But the thing behind the game is the game that doesn't change. So.
Well, they have to change. It depends, how old the engine is and, what that needs. And if you get a new engine, then you got to do a whole new slew of, bringing the players in and doing all that tracking. I'm not up to speed on how old the Madden football engine is, if it's been updated over the last year or two, or if this thing's an ancient dinosaur like the COD engine and it just constantly needs, that type of attention, so the bugs you speak of don't get addressed because it's lower on the priority list.
Right.
Who knows? But anyways, I thought it was interesting. My son said, "Yeah, I'm not buying them." Usually he gets a slew of Xbox cash around his birthday and Christmas, and he'll usually save it up for those sports games. But he hasn't been buying them.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the receipt for Madden or anything come across.
Yeah. Well,
and you yourself, same thing. You didn't buy Madden the last 2 years?
I bought it last year. Last year I bought it. I didn't buy it this year. I bought it late last year.
Now I'm not up to speed on it. Is Madden not on PC or is it on PC?
It is. I bought it through Steam.
And I
bought it through Steam.
Is it Steam Deck playable or no?
It is. It's not Steam Deck playable. Sorry, no. It's Ally. You can play it on the Ally, but you can't play on you cannot play it on the Steam Deck, which is unfortunate because I think that's the best way to play a lot of these sports games is handheld on the go, that type of thing.
And how does it look on the Ally? Is it?
Looks great. It looks great. Looks good. Looks fine. Looks great on PC. It looks really good on PC. Different experience on PC is just weird. I don't know. I'm always used to playing sports games on a console. That seems like a console game, right? Just like we talk Call of Duty, Battlefield. So it's a little odd playing on PC, but it works well. It's fine. You got the whole EA app login thing you got to do, which kind of sucks. But
and this, I think, is the first year that MLB The Show is not part of Game Pass.
They didn't put it on. Yeah,
the MLB, who owns that license, I think, decided to pull it off Game Pass. So I'm curious how that's impacting. I know people thought that, that's a big deal. It's coming from Sony over to Xbox. I'm not sure how well that's panned out, if that's been something that they feel has been a good move, successful move. It seems like sometimes when you have a franchise just on one system and it's just made for that system, it holds more integrity, value. It's perceived more as a high value type item, and then when it's spread across multiple things, it's just I can play this at any time, or it's just on any system. It doesn't have the same cachet anymore. So I don't know. I could be out of the loop, but I feel like I don't hear people talking about MLB The Show in the same light like it used to be.
Yeah, I agree. Used to be a big deal every year when it came out.
And that could just be the overall state of baseball. Who knows?
Could be. Mm-hmm.
And are you following the baseball here? Since it's mid September, we're getting close to the postseason. Are you keeping an eye? Obviously, your Reds aren't making the playoffs this year, right?
Well, they're not the way they're playing. I mean, they're still in the hunt for a wild card. Mm-hmm. But the way they're playing lately, no, it's been frustrating to watch them just devolve during some of these games where they'll have a lead and then they just blow it. So it's unfortunate.
Red Sox are in a decline right now. They're still in the hunt for the wild card. I think they still have. If it ended right now, they'd be in the playoffs. But a lot of injuries on the team, and some of the younger guys or plug-and-play guys are not producing like they should. So,
yeah.
is what it is, but we'll see here in a few weeks. It'll be October baseball, which is the best baseball to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
All right. Let's talk about what we have been playing. Of course, we hinted at Borderlands, so we're going to talk some Borderlands 4 here in just a minute. But in the meantime, to gear up for Borderlands 4, we put a lot of time into Borderlands 3 over the last week and a half or so. We sort of rushed through the game to just get the story, which I don't know if was needed, which we'll talk about in Borderlands 4 here in just a minute.
I think playing Borderlands 3 the last couple of weeks was more of a detriment than helpful for us going to Borderlands 4. And
certainly
we can discuss that.
Certainly very different games, but to I don't know, Borderlands 3 gets a bad rap from a lot of people, and you'll hear the reviews for Borderlands 4, people were saying, we're back, baby. This is the best game since Borderlands 2, so on and so forth. So for me, I don't know. I'm not so much a Siskel and Ebert with these things. Borderlands 3 felt like a competent Borderlands game to me. But there's some missteps along the way. Sure, like every sort of iterative franchise release, you can poke holes in things. I think the meme humor and the tropes in the game, got tiring after a while. But hey, you know what? Get back to me after you played that Thresher mission in Borderlands 4 and tell me if you think they're not in the new game as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't have a bad taste in my mouth like a lot of people do with Borderlands 3. It's a game that I put a lot of hours in. I must have beaten that story 2 or 3 times, at least twice. But I'm thinking 3 times. All the Vault Hunter mode or True Vault, whatever it's called. We played that a bunch and doing all the Captain Haunt Halloween stuff.
Yep.
All the DLC came out with that. I was thinking this the other day, Matt. Like the Borderlands games individually, I might not rank one of them in my top 5 games of all time, but I would think out of all gaming franchises, that Borderlands might be the franchise I've played the most out of everything. I don't know. Call of Duty might be ahead of that, but who knows? But I'm just, these types of not annual games, because they're only on Borderlands 4 and Call of Duty's on whatever. Borderlands might be the franchise I've played the most out of any other gaming, franchises. And so, I don't have a bad opinion about Borderlands 3 like a lot of other people do. I enjoyed my time with it, and it was, to me, at least it was Borderlands, and we'll talk about Borderlands 4 here shortly.
Yeah, I think Borderlands 3 was a decent game, fun. Like you said, we played through that many, many times. Okay, we had a lot of fun with doing different things. It was a little quirky here and there. I think the problem with, especially this past couple weeks, playing Borderlands 3 and then going to 4 is like all the quality of life improvements they made in Borderlands 3 did not make it to Borderlands 4. And, in playing that the past couple weeks, you get used to the menu system, everything that was in 3, and then 4, they just like totally revamped everything. There's some things I miss in 4 that was in 3. The mini map, is just a radar now. It doesn't actually have like the map underneath it. I miss that. I miss the looting things and automatically going to cache instead of going into your storage. But they did make some great upgrades to the game. The graphics upgraded. So far, the story is going good.
Yeah, we're going to get into 4 in a minute. I think the quality of life that you speak to of the automatic picking up certain colored items, the rarities. You want the grays and the greens and maybe the blues to automatically go turn into cash and ammo. I don't think they're rolling with that type of feature on day one or week one because they don't want people to break the loot system and just, plow through the game right away. I think that's something that they implement year two when people are focused more on end game stuff. I don't think that's something they want to bring in right away. But for people that were used to that and then try to go right into 4, it is certainly an adjustment. But I thought 3. I think the worst part of 3 were the main enemies, right? The twins. I thought I thought the dad was a lot more interesting than them. They were just two spoiled brats, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So other than Borderlands 3, you're playing more Stardew Valley. That's just on the old Steam Deck and somewhat on the PC.
Yeah. A fun little game. I can't believe all the hours I've been putting into that game. Mainly because there hasn't really been too much other stuff to play. I shouldn't say that either. I got plenty of games from my computer I got to play yet. But it's a fun little game. Nice, chill. Plays great on the Steam Deck. You're a farmer. Go out. You grow crops. You sell crops. You milk cows. You get eggs. There's things you got. Little quests and missions you have to do. So fun, nice, relaxing, chill game to play.
I wonder if any gaming farmers, if we have any gaming farmers listening to us, actually real life farmers that are into gaming, do you go home and play Stardew Valley? Is the work never done?
They go right straight to Farming Simulator.
Fuck.
That's what they do. Yeah, Farming Simulator, right to that.
I always go back to that story when Howard Stern was interviewing Elton John one time, and Elton John, always, at one point in time was always on the road, always with his band, making records. And Howard asked him, do you sit at home and, practice and play? And he's like, does the fucking baker come home and make a pie? Meaning the answer was absolutely no, he doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm sure in his younger days when he was starting out, all consumed and that's all you're doing. But once he got to his, status, right, playing the same songs by and large over and over again, and just by memory, and sure rehearses as they ramp up for tours or records or whatever. But just
sure,
interesting to find that was his answer. So does the farmer, when he gets done or she gets done with her day, come home and play farming games? Were they Animal Crossing? Were farmers playing Animal Crossing?
Yeah, exactly. And you can compare Stardew Valley a lot to Animal Crossing, with the different characters and making friendships and just doing things here and there. There's collectibles and stuff. You can decorate your house and add on all this other shit. So, pretty cool. But I've been playing that Borderlands 3 that we talked about there. Been doing some of that.
Talk to me about Borderlands 3 on the handheld. Did you try it on either one?
I did not, no, because I had it on Xbox.
Oh, that's right. You had it on Xbox.
I had it on Xbox, so I couldn't play it on any of the handhelds, unfortunately. I'd like to have tried that.
I did install it on Steam Deck, and it worked fine. It was competent. It looks good on the OLED Steam Deck. And I didn't feel like it was sluggish, not fluid, that I was, up against, performance issues. Now, of course, this is going on, a 7-year-old game here at some point. It came out in 2019, almost 2026 here. So it should run on those devices, no problem, and it did. As I was relaying to you and Jay when we talked this week, Jay, Gamers in Beta Jay, my eyes are just getting so old that I was having a hard time seeing enemies off in the distance. Obviously, if they were up close to me, not a problem. But if I was trying to take some enemies a little bit further away, I was just having a hard time landing my shots correctly. And I'm starting to wonder, are we trying to shoehorn all games into these handhelds? Like just because it can do it, should we do it? Where I started like Psychonauts 2 on the ROG Ally X this week, and that to me felt like a much better handheld experience, like more along the lines, at least with my age and where my eyes are, that I could comfortably play the game and not feel like I'm straining. So I tried to play like Gears Reloaded and Borderlands 3 on the handhelds, and they competently ran on those systems. So it's not a system issue that I was up against. I was up against my own issues where I felt like my eyes were just not letting me be as proficient with the shooting as I would like when I have a big television or monitor at my disposal.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
Right.
I'm sort of in my mind transitioning of how I approach these handhelds and what I think they would be of use to me going forward. Like, I'm not sure the open world shooters or shooters in general is something I should be using those devices for, because I don't feel I'm playing them at the level that I could play them at if I was in front of a television.
Yeah, I agree with you on a lot of that. I think, the games that I like to enjoy playing on the Steam Deck are the LAX, Balatro, Stardew Valley, that Geometry Wars, whatever, games like that are great because, there's not a lot of action happening, if that makes sense. It's not that fast-paced game. But where I do think, like I'm going, I'll try today while I'm watching the Bengals on my Ally Borderlands. And what I'll be doing is probably more of like map exploring and just kind of little side things, just stuff like that, instead of actually like main quest stuff. Because to your point, it's hard to see some of the action that's going on just because it's so fast. It's just with that small of a screen, there is that issue.
Yeah, and I think if you approach it like that, like, hey, I'm going to use the handheld, like Fallout 76, going to go knock out some dailies, going to do some inventory management. You could use it that way. Where if I say, all right, I'm going to play Borderlands 3 or 4 on the ROG Ally X, and I'm going to do a main mission, I might be losing money because every time, the money is so plentiful that every time you die in Borderlands games, they take money when you revive. So it could actually be a detriment to your overall financial stability in that game. But if you want to go around and open the map and go to all the exclamation points and go to all the quest givers and get all those knocked out, so then when you get back into the game in front of your television or computer monitor, you can say, yep, all right, now I have all my quests and I can go off and do that,
Yeah, right, yeah.
That might be something to consider. So before we get to Borderlands 4, the only other thing I have been playing is Gears Reloaded. I finished between the last time we spoke and this episode, and I don't know what it is now. Gears Reloaded, Borderlands 3 felt very easy going through them, and we've had this conversation off air. Part of you were saying, well, it's the familiarity. There's no longer the like sort of suspense, like, oh my God, there's this boss. How do I beat them? You've beaten the boss before. I think there's some of that for sure. I think Borderlands 3, I really feel like they might have made that easier in just normal mode, and because they want people at this stage of where the game is at, really to go push endgame, true Vault Hunter mode. So maybe in some of those updates, like with the director's cut or whatever that was called, it got a little bit easier playing through. But as far as Gears Reloaded, I finished that in under 12 hours. And I remember that final boss when you fight that ROM guy on the 360 and even on Xbox One when it came out with that remastered version of the first game. The original Gears game played more like a horror game, and this time, with all the graphical fidelity updates, it plays more like an action-adventure game. And it was so easy to tell what was going on in that final boss that I just maneuvered my way around ROM and the krill weren't as dense as in the first game, and then I could just get on that sort of turret and shoot him. And I did the boss battle. I wanted, no kidding, like less than 25 seconds, 30 seconds, something that might have taken me a very long time. And I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Is it the graphical changes, or is it playing on PC? Even though when I'm on PC, I'm not playing with a mouse and keyboard. But is the sensitivity more dialed in, that I am more precise in these games than I am going up against whatever limitations the consoles have? I'm not sure. Even in Borderlands 4, yes, I'm dying, but I feel like when I'm playing just solo, I'm going through the game somewhat easier than anticipated. Now, I will admit, when me and you played last night for the first time, I did find it more difficult, and it must be more difficult when you have more people in your party. But
yeah,
the reason I could feel that is afterwards, after you went to bed and I stayed on for a little bit, I was like, oh, this is all of a sudden a hell of a lot easier again.
It could also be me, Mike. It could also be I'm a terrible player. I'm making it worse on you.
Clogging up those damn pathways. But anyway, those are some observations from Gears Reloaded. Certainly enjoyable, looked great, played that on PC the whole time. Really a nice job. And looking forward to whatever they do with the next release. I think the prequel is coming out here at some point, so looking forward to that. All right.
Nice.
Borderlands 4, sir. It is here. We're going to talk about it right now. We're both, just to set the groundwork here, we're both playing it on PC. Okay? We got access to it. PC players got access to it on Thursday the 11th. Console players got it on the 12th. We started playing on the 11th. Me, maybe more than you. But what I would like to report first about the PC version is there's been a lot of scuttlebutt out there about, optimizations and, the usual week one pain points that multi-platform games see, especially when PC is involved. But I think, by and large, performance-wise, it has been fine for us as far as crashes. Neither one of us has had any crashes. And I'm not noticing any sort of major stuttering, slowdowns, any sort of optimization issues on my end. The only thing I have noticed is since NVIDIA put out their update, the driver update, it is no longer letting me play the game in 2160p. So my monitor here can do 3820 by 2160?
Yeah, 4K.
And yes, and so it has bumped it down to 1440p on me. And last night, there is an issue we'll talk about in a little bit that we are seeing. When we restarted the game to see if that would clear that issue, I noticed they put out an update last night that they put my game into like a small window, picture like the Brady Bunch. I was like up in the corner, waiting for Marsha and Jan and, Bobby to be looking at me in these other places on my monitor. And once I fixed that by going into the settings and going to borderless and then back to full screen, I could go ahead and switch it to 4K again.
Yeah.
And it was very sluggish. So even though my system's only about a year or two old, shows you how fast these games move. So NVIDIA, long way of saying I think NVIDIA has my optimization settings correctly, playing it in 1440p rather than in 4K, because there was definitely a little bit more slowdown. It was not as an athletic and fluid game in 4K rather than in 1440p.
Did you do the optimization in the NVIDIA app? Did you press that button to optimize the game, or did you just...
It, to my knowledge, you don't even need to do that anymore with the new app. It just optimizes it for you. So when I go to look at the game in the app, it says optimize and has the green check mark. There is no optimization button for me to press at this particular time. My only option is to revert. So
I've got an optimization button on mine where it'll optimize it for me.
Yeah, I guess it's not showing there for me because it's already optimized.
Yeah, when I started the game up, there's a thing on the game too where it'll just automatically detect settings and set everything.
Yeah.
And when I started the game, it came up with all those settings there, which some of it are running a little bit higher than what NVIDIA app wants to do. And I am running in 1440. I'm doing 1440 instead of 4K on this one. I'm getting a steady 60, 70 frames per second.
I haven't turned the stats on to let you know. NVIDIA has me set at unlimited frame rate. But
mine's set to unlimited. A couple other things, but most of the settings are set to medium for me.
Yeah. Something was set to low for me. But yeah, it runs the gamut between very high, medium, and low, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
But let's get into it here. I want to hear your take, Matt, so far. And we don't know where the story is going to take us. But my overall feeling as far as the Borderlands vibe, story, characters we all know and love, it is missing a lot of that. Like if someone came to me and Mike said, hey, there's going to be a new Borderlands game, but it's not going to be in the Borderlands lore, but it's going to have the Borderlands look and feel. And we're not going to call it Borderlands 4. We're going to call it, this has been
Land of Border.
A game influenced by Borderlands. I would, so far, I mean, it could change. It doesn't have a lot of that Borderlands 1 and 2 vibe. Claptrap is in it 100%.
Yes.
Mad Moxie is in it in name only. There's certain things like it's called Mad Moxie's like Splash Zone or something like that, where you can replay certain bosses for higher value. Yes. It costs
yes.
money to participate in that. And then she is brought up, without spoilers, she is brought up at other points in the game. But to date, I have not seen in the flesh Mad Moxie, Ellie, Marcus Munitions, some of those other characters. Now, when you go to the vending machines, they are owned and operated by Zane, who was a character you played in Borderlands 3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe the medical things are Zed. Zed was in games 1 and 2, right? I'm not even sure if Zed was in 3.
I don't think Zed was even in 3. It was Tannis.
Yes. So yeah, Tannis and the Firehawk and other characters from the Borderlands lore, Tiny Tina, etc.
Crazy Earl. Where's Crazy Earl? Crazy Earl's a staple in that game. What you want? Nothing yet.
Nothing.
Yeah. So like what you're saying is this. You could play this game not knowing anything about the past Borderlands game. You wouldn't really be missing anything out, because you're. But us who have played Borderlands before, it's like, okay, like you said, it doesn't really seem like Borderlands, even though it's got the look for it, it's got the guns, the loot, and all that stuff. But it's not. Even some of the enemies aren't, are like totally different. Like there's not many of the bandits and stuff like that roaming around.
Yeah, there's definitely different enemy types of based upon the story. It's no secret that the main enemy is called the Timekeeper, and so all his minions have a more space-like alien look to them. There are some bandits in the game, but there's a group of enemies called the Rippers. That is sort of like, I think if I understand the story, there was this woman who was part of the Timekeepers. She was a minion, but she is now splintered off, and she heads up the Rippers. They're these enemies that can use these underground drills that come up through the ground in these pods, and that's where all their guys come out of. But they look like knockoff, psychos and So. Yeah, to your point, there's a lot of look and feel, all the crates and things that you can open, boxes, chest, the cell shading, of course, is there.
Yep.
So I'm eager to see, as you play through it, how they're going to tie in the Borderlands story to it. Now, I told you a little bit last night, the side missions you play as Claptrap, you play Claptrap side missions. He starts talking about Pandora and things of that nature, but nothing so far that has bled into the main story. So we are on a different planet. We're not on Pandora. We're on Kairos. And it seems like there's plenty to do in the game. But this is the feeling I have with Borderlands 4 is not a negative feeling. Like, as we're talking about it, I kind of wish I was playing the game right now.
Yeah, me too.
but they took a lot of other games, and I'm not going to use the word shoehorn them in, but they took a lot of other games and brought those into the Borderlands universe. So it feels like a very modern game, right? So if you think of Destiny or Star Wars Outlaws, you have the land speeder. I think they call it the hovercraft or something like that.
Hover, yeah.
So that's a traversal way that you can get around. You're not there's no catch a ride with Ellie so far. You're just pressing right on the D-pad, and you can bring up your land speeder at any time, and you can go across the whole world. There is, we think about the last Halo game and other games that have, the word's escaping me right now, Matt, where you can grapple. Grapple.
You can grapple things. Yeah.
That was the word I was missing. Grapple. That was a welcome addition into Halo Infinite. And so that now is in Borderlands 4. You'll go along the world, and places that you can grapple will have the RS symbol, so you press down on your right thumbstick and you can grapple along. There's also like propane and fire extinguishers and other things that you can grapple and then use your right trigger to throw those at enemies. So a lot of that feels modern. Other things, I am not sure what the need for. And you, I want your opinion on this. Like the grapple and the hover, to me, would have felt like enough. But what was the reason to bring in this sort of jetpack? And it doesn't feel like a traditional jetpack in the sense that you're going up and then over. There's not a lot of controlling this thing. Basically, you just press A and you hold it a little bit, and you just kind of float across the screen. If that's the one that feels a little shoehorned in, and was that their way of getting around some of these things that are more vertical rather than horizontal? Like, it was like, I don't want to give away the beginning of the story, but basically it was like, here you go, you got this, and there was no like rhyme or reason. It just felt like another thing that was tacked on.
Yeah, I do like the addition of the double jump. I think that's something that could have been in the past games, because with ledges and stuff like that. I think the whole jetpack glide thing, I think that's something they might have added in last minute to help traverse this land, because it's somewhat different than games in the past. I think that's maybe why all of a sudden it just feels like it was like, okay, all right, here's a jetpack. There's no like story or anything behind it. So I think that was like, shoehorned in, something they had to do to help traverse the areas. And then something else go ahead.
Because you can't update it. Well,
no. So far it seems like this is it. Yeah.
Because you can upgrade other things in the game, like the hovercraft or your healing, but there is no, it's just there. And there's no like real talk about it. Like, you don't see it on your back. Like when you're in somewhat in third person view on the hover, you don't.
Yeah, it's
just weird and wild that. And maybe you're right. At the last minute, they were like, "Fuck, some of this stuff is too high up, and
even the double jump's not working. So we need to kind of somehow make them float."
You don't have much control over it. It's
not much at all. Unless we're doing it wrong.
Which is entirely possible.
And then another thing they added, the wall climb thing is new in this game, where you can just walk up and you can just climb up a wall. Certain walls, not every wall.
Right.
Certain walls.
The other thing that they added that ties into this is this echo thing that follows you around, and that is that like a Destiny thing? Couldn't you do that in Destiny? It would show you the path.
Yeah.
What's that thing in Echo? Isn't that called the Echo in Destiny?
No, that's your
The guy Peter Dinklage voiced it.
Yeah, maybe it is. No, it's not called an Echo. What is that thing? God damn, I played so much Destiny. My mind just went blank with that. I know what you're talking. Yeah.
I mean, that showed you exactly where to go too. So, someone who's playing a lot of fucking Destiny who made up the mechanics in this game to me, and so you have the Echo now that can show you the path. And what was the point you were talking about before that? The wall climb. So when you do the Echo, not only does it show you the path of like the mission or the pin or whatever you side quest, it's all color based. It will show you that wall that Matt is speaking of in a fluorescent green, so you know you can go up that wall. Now, if you don't use the Echo, the walls that you can climb up still are very easy to spot because they're more in this brown, pewterish color, and it's got vents on them. And so you just run up to the wall and you press in on your right thumbstick, and your guy kind of goes climbing up the wall.
I don't even think you got to press on your thumbstick. You just run up to it; it'll automatically climb up.
It automatically latches onto it.
Yeah.
It is definitely a more athletic game and more forgiving in how you're getting around. Borderlands 1 and 2 were famous for keeping your boots to the ground and not getting no jump, And Borderlands 3, a little bit better of a jump, and then they had the mantling system in Borderlands 2, which was nice. So this feels like, I'm not going to say the next natural progression because it's like they put everything in. the whole kitchen sink is in here, minus the vehicles. And I'm curious if those will come later. I don't think it comes later because I got an achievement that says I've unlocked all vehicles, and I only have the hover bike.
Yeah.
Other things that have made it to that are in modern games that have made it into Borderlands 3 is the weapon wheel. And I know that's something you like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the weapon wheel there, which makes it, you can still, hit Y to switch between your weapons. But if you hold down Y, the wheel comes up and you can just, instead of going through each one, you can actually pick one, right away. I do like that. That's pretty nice.
There is, as Matt mentioned, there is not a way to pick up loot and have it immediately turn into junk, and so cash on hand immediately. However, you can now mark loot as junk when you pick it up. So it's reducing a step in your inventory management. If you just know that you're not interested in greens and grays, you can just mark those as junk. And then you can instantly sell them at junk at vending machines, which is nice. And the vending machines are more plentiful around the world than in other Borderlands games. So you didn't always have to go back to Sanctuary or other main places. Like if we were at Hammerlock's house in Borderlands 3, you could go to the vending machines there. It seems like the vending machines are somewhat a little bit more plentiful in the game.
Yeah, they do seem to be. I think one thing that is not plentiful in the game is fast travel stations. There's a lot of traveling you have to do in this game compared to games past. I think they're going back to the original Borderlands where there wasn't many fast travel options. And I think that's a plus and a minus.
Well, this is something I wanted to get into because I think it might be hindering your experience with the game. I could be totally wrong with this. I would be slow down your roll and pushing that main story and start doing more of these side quests because there's things called silos.
Yeah, I've fun. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That unlock, more fast travel points. So I feel like in the world we're in the section of the world we're in right now, I don't know if it's called flat something. I can't remember what it's called. I probably have 4 or 5 fast travel points that I can go to based on either silos I've unlocked or other main areas that I've unlocked, like the launch pad, and that first place that Claptrap brings you to. So is it more plentiful than before? No, but I still think if you do enough exploring, you will find enough. I think there's more checkpoints.
Yeah, plenty of checkpoints
through the game. Those little sort of beacons that you unlock, and so if you die, you don't feel like it's penalizing you. Although we experienced a few last night in the main quest, where if you died, you did have to do a lot of running back to where you were. But overall, I feel like that's better. So we were talking about the junk and the looting. The lost loot menu seems better. It's just a button press, and you can determine if you want to take them or if you want to assign them to junk.
Just trash it right away. Yeah. And there's also with the loot, Mike, there's just not just favorites and trash anymore. Now you can like assign loadout numbers, like you can tag it 1, 2, 3, 4 for different loadouts that you could have.
Yep. The marking system, I think, will probably have some improvements over time. I think some people will want to be able to mark stuff junk quicker than going to inventory, clicking on the item, clicking mark, and then saying junk. I think people will look for a quicker way to do that. But
you can just click down RS when you're hovering over something. Just click RS and it'll automatically mark it as junk.
Oh, see? I didn't even pay attention to that. So it's already there. Strike that from the record. Assigning stuff to the bank that's
pretty nice. You can just send stuff to the bank automatically. That's pretty cool.
Yep. It is. I think so. They've done a nice job there. Also, you don't have to mark things as favorites when you sell it. If you try to sell something that's equipped, a warning message comes up saying you're trying to sell something that's equipped.
Yes.
So that's a good quality of life. Legendary weapons. We're going to talk about that. Matt's got a lot to say about this because we have a few legendary weapons, at least right now, because they came with the pre-order. You can't use them until you get to level 30 or 50. I only have one legendary weapon at my disposal, which I've acquired through fishing. And so they said the loot was going to be more meaningful this time around. You weren't just going to be getting legendaries like they were, full-size candy bars at Halloween. Just reach in and take two at your leisure. They were going to be few and far between. And so far, I am over 15 hours, and I'm level 19, and I don't have any legendary guns. However, if I had that rarity setting like it was in Borderlands 3, I would already have it set at blue. I would not pick up any blues, greens, or grays. They would immediately turn into cash, and I would just be going for purples because my whole gear set right now is all purple. And I don't say that to toot my own horn. I don't say that to gloat, but Matt is having a very difficult time finding anything above greens. He's telling me that blues and especially purples are very rare to come across. And
yes.
I don't know what the reason is. Is that just the RNG loot gods not being in your favor? Is that a play style? Are you doing more body shots than headshots? Do headshots matter? Do critical hits matter in any of this stuff? The research I've done so far, I haven't seen anybody mention that, but I'm trying to come up with ways. Are you pushing the main story too much? And do you need to be doing some of these side quests that would give you these things, the rewards? You even say the rewards that you get are just cosmetics, which has not been my experience. I'm always getting guns by doing, headshots or certain types of kills. The gun manufacturers send me stuff. So they show up under my rewards and I get, guns that way. So it's your game. You plunk down the $100. You play it the way you want. There's no right or wrong way. All I'm saying from my side is, if you try to want to change how the loot's dropping, try something different. Try to play some more of those side quests and especially guns or augments that are going to give you criticals and see if you get different loot that way. I'd be curious.
Well, you would think that the main missions would give you the better loot than side quests. That's normally the case in games. And I would find it hard to believe that giving critical shots and headshots, that they've put that much detail into the game that would change the type of loot that you're going to get. That would be all over Reddit or some other place about that. I'm just, we're both playing on normal.
Same
normal difficulty. Same character. Yeah, yeah. And I'm getting mainly greens.
We should mention the character we're playing is Rafa.
Rafa.
He's the exo soldier, so he's the guy that has the turrets, the guns that come up out of his shoulders. He has some other abilities that he can do too, some knives. So we're both playing the same guy and also using the current same ability that he has. We haven't, I think for this first playthrough, we're just kind of not looking at builds. We're not looking at any of that stuff. At least I'm not. I'm just applying things as I earn the skill points. I'm going across, trying to get my gun damage up and the fire rate up. And then as those are at a comfortable level, slowly working my way down the skill tree. So yeah, if we're kind of doing the same things, it seems very strange that one player would have so much less loot than the other one. But we'll see over time. Maybe things will balance itself out. But all my gear that I'm rocking right now is all purple, and I have everything unlocked except one whatever that lower left-hand corner box is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got the one in the middle unlocked. I don't have the other two unlocked yet. Yeah, I think I've got like one purple, one blue, and then mostly greens. And that's the other thing too. Like last night, I'm level 12 or 13 hours. I can't remember.
I think you were level 12 or 11, and you said, I just got a level 9 gun completing this mission.
Yeah, a purple, level 9. And it's like, I get like, ooh, a purple. And I get, what's fucking level 9?
And then we were doing the whole cash exercise.
Yeah.
I was level 18 at the time, and let's say you were level 12. I said, all right, Matt, I'm picking up the cash. Let me know how much you got. So the cash for me was 72, and you got 48. I said, all right. So maybe I said, okay, maybe the first person picking it up gets the full amount, and the other person gets a little bit less because they're not actually the one picking it up. So Matt went and found some cash. He said, all right, Mike, I'm picking it up now. He's like, I got 48. And I said, well, I got 72. So why am I, the higher level you are, the more money you get? I don't understand.
That's a possibility. It's a possibility, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm not getting the same loot stuff as you. Maybe I need, maybe something that just not registering. Maybe I need to go in and like choose easy, and then play. Just play for like 5-10 minutes, and then go back and choose normal again, and see if that does something. Maybe flip the switch or something. I don't know.
Try hard.
Or try hard. That's true. I could try hard, see what happens. Next thing you know, I'm broke.
Be a try hard. So that is real interesting. We were looking like last night. We were in this one area, and I'm like, look, I got a blue here, and Matt's like, I don't even have a weapon here.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, we killed that one boss. And there was not. Mike's like, oh, look here. And I was like, there's nothing. There's nothing here for me. Yeah.
Oh, I'd be rip shit. This has happened before. The reverse of this. I've had this happen to me, and I get rip shit.
Oh, it's terrible. Oh my God, it's terrible. It's like, oh Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's a terrible when this happens to Mike.
The fuck. Yeah. So. That is one thing we are noticing. There was people have been complaining about the PC optimizations. They put an update out last night. Again, Matt and I weren't having any issues before. We weren't having any issues afterwards. However, the issue we are now experiencing is some of the pre-order cosmetics have been taken away from us. And Matt was explaining that some people were getting things for free that shouldn't have. They were just buying the base game, and they were getting some of the pre-order stuff in their inventory, and it seems like they took it away from everybody right now. So I'm, wondering how quickly we're going to get some of that stuff back. And I think the problem with that is, we're going to give it back to you. No, I wasn't sitting here writing down, going, what was this in the pre-order, and to see if when everything gets turned back, did I get everything back, or was some stuff that I got in the super deluxe, the $130 edition. So, I I have a feeling we're going to be compensated in keys to keep us all hush hush. Anybody impacted. I'll be curious. It would surprise me on a Saturday night they pushed out an update, so I don't know if they'll come out and do an update here on Sunday to fix this, or we're looking more middle of the week. I didn't see I saw a few mentions of it on Reddit. I didn't see a whole ton though. It wasn't like it was being flooded.
Some good things about the game. This is something Mike and I we talk a lot about games when we're playing multiplayer. How the ease of getting into each other's game. Very easy, just popping into the game to play multiplayer co-op. If
you've done the homework beforehand, if you've become friends on their Shift platform, Yep. Otherwise, joined right in. I know the first 2 days we didn't do any co-op because you said the guy you watch on Twitch, Goth, was saying the co-op wasn't working great. We didn't have any issues. I didn't notice any slowdown, sluggishness.
Nope.
The only thing I could potentially say was it took me a little bit long to load in the first time. Like it went through that. Whatever that sort of going through the atmosphere sequence is, it's been in all Borderlands games, that blue screen.
That wormhole looking thing.
Yeah, that took me a little bit longer than usual, and it came up saying, shader caches were being, downloaded or something. But other than that, silky smooth getting into the games and playing the games. It did feel tougher when we were with two of us than with single player.
Yeah. There was more enemies. I noticed that when we was playing together than what I normally, get. But so far, I'm having a great time. It's been fun. It's been good. I look forward to playing more of it for sure. I look forward to updates coming out to improve certain things here and there. See where this takes us. As far as replayability and all that coming up.
What is your
like to try another character?
Other things that have been added to the game that weren't there before is a healing. So you could always pick up blood vials along the way to replenish your health. Okay, but now what they've done is there's a healing gun essentially that you're upgrading over time. You're picking up new ones just like any sort of gun. Yeah. And you can heal yourself through this gun, and it's got a cooldown effect to it. Or you can pick up the blood vials as well. What is your... And you also, a second wind is still in the game, so you kill enemies.
Yep.
You can be revived that way if you go down. But what is your thought process there on the healing?
I'm curious as to why they added it, for one thing. It wasn't something that was needed or asked for. I don't think so in games past, because you would go around, you could pick up the healing things, or open up ammo crates and, a healing thing would pop out. So I'm curious as to need for it, for one thing. Because it's just one more thing now you have to manage, you have to remember to do one more thing to upgrade. So it's okay. I always forget to use it because I forget it's there because it hasn't been in there in games past. But I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's just one more step for them to try to bring this game into a modern space and try to attract more users. I think they want the word out there that Borderlands is no longer this sort of dated experience that if you enjoy these types of aspects in other games, you can come into our game and you'll be right at home with similar mechanics. I think that's what they went for in this game, to get a broader appeal rather than sort of niche audience. I mean, the other things like you can update your character at any point. You don't have to go to a character customization screen. You can get your vehicle at any point. You don't have to go to the catch a ride system like we talked about. So those sort of quality of life things that are in other games that we all know are there. No loading screens, right? You think about all the other Borderlands games that you go to when you go to different worlds. You'd have to run up to them and they'd be like that sort of translucent screen. And you'd have to, click X and it would take you to the next part of the world. There's none of that. It's just seamless so far.
Well, that's just because there's only one world.
No, but you would
We're
have,
not really traveling anywhere.
if you had to go to the processing plant last night, right? In the other games, you probably would have had to click in. They would have had to load that in.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And I think some of that is just the tech has evolved over time.
Yeah.
And that's where we are with that. And there's some cutscenes, to some of these story beats that you'll have. The UI and the menu. It is.
I'm still trying to get used to it.
It just feels like video game. It doesn't feel like it has the Borderlands vibe to it. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel. It's competent enough. You can get used to it. It's not something that you're going to be struggle to wrap your head around. You play enough hours. It's going to be fine. But it's missing that level of ambiance.
Yeah.
That I was experiencing in other games, and that gets me back to the whole playing this. It feels like Borderlands, but it's not Borderlands vibe.
Yeah,
and maybe over time that will fade away. But that
menu, that UI, you could put that in any game, and it would work with any game. It seems very generic, very universal.
Yeah. But I think to your point, I am liking it. I am enjoying it. Very eager to see where this goes and how it ties in. I imagine at some point, beyond just mentioning these characters and mentioning Pandora, there's got to be some sort of something that, I hope it's not behind a paywall. Like it's coming in up, subsequent, Vault Hunter packs that we're going to release, story-based stuff. The general theme or mission of this game is to get off of this planet, right? The timekeeper has sort of locked everybody onto this planet, and it's his world, and he's put something on your back that he can keep tabs on everybody and can control them. And you're working now to sort of bring down his minions to sort of break down the walls of his control and get off the planet.
Yes.
And does that mean you get off the planet and you can go to Pandora? Does that mean Pandora people come to you and help you out at some point? I don't know.
Sanctuary 3 coming to take you away.
Yeah. Anything else you want to discuss on Borderlands 4 that we didn't mention, or?
Not at this point. I'm pretty sure in the upcoming weeks there'll be more for sure to talk about. I think, I think overall it's Borderlands, but it's not Borderlands. Like what we said before. But we'll see how that evolves as we keep playing. We're very early in the game, so yeah.
I think it's a pick up an easy experience. I don't think if someone came to you, Matt, and said, I just listened to you guys, and this sounds very appealing, but I've never played any of the other Borderlands games. I don't think that's a hindrance. Because of what we mentioned, the story so far has nothing to do with the other games, and the more modern approach that they've taken with some of these mechanics, I think makes it very pick up and play. That whoever's been
there's not a huge learning curve. Yeah, to get into it. Yeah.
A lot of the collectibles make noise when you get close to them, sort of like Destiny and Fortnite.
Yes.
So it's got a lot. If you've played, if it's your first video game ever playing, sure. But if you played a whole bunch beforehand, I think it's very easy to get into and wrap your head around.
Absolutely. Yep.
Last thing I'd say about it from a visual perspective, I don't know if it's because, it's sad to say this because we've just gotten these machines in the last, 2-3 years, maybe 3 for you, 2 for me, or even it'll be 2 in February. It'll be 2 years I've had this machine. So not even 2 years for me. That we're not playing, I got a 4070 Super, you have a 3070. The visuals at times look muted. The cell shading does not look great everywhere. And what I told Matt was when I was playing it, It feels a lot like Fallout 4 or Fallout 76 in the aspect. Some of those games are very detailed in certain areas. And then you go into some other areas and it looks generic as fuck.
Yeah.
Like they were they used real humans to create some of these areas, and those are really detail oriented. They're really hyper focused, handcrafted, bespoke experiences. And some of these other areas just look like, AI generated, as far as reuse, put this asset here. We already have this asset created, plop down this building here and make it a little bit different, So I'm not blown away visually. And if this game had cross progression, I would double dip and buy it on the PS5 Pro to see the difference. I want to compare and contrast. I haven't seen Gott's stream yet to look at that. But I want to see what other people are seeing compared to what I'm seeing. Is everybody seeing, in certain areas that it looks like this? Or am I playing a visually dumbed down experience because I'm not on a RTX 500 series. I'm on an RTX 400 series.
Yeah, there's a lot of areas that don't seem as vibrant as what they could be. And I think that's, I told you the other day, I'm having difficulty seeing some enemies. But when we was inside those areas last night, inside that one complex, I was fine with seeing enemies. It seems like when I'm outside, when things are, as you said last night, this area looks like dog shit, is when I have some difficulty when enemies are out and about trying to shoot them and find them.
And what I do notice sometimes, if you stay in the same area and you go through the day and night life cycle, things tend to look better when there's more, I'm not sure, like dawn, I guess would be the time. So not completely full sunny and not dark, sort of that hybrid in between. So when there's a little, so dawn or dusk, they looked better. The lighting looked better in those areas. So, I don't know. Some of the enemies, when they're further away, don't look as detail oriented. And I don't know if that is our PCs. Is that Gearbox hiring a lot of junior developers and junior artists, so things aren't as detail oriented as they could be? They, focus their attention on the seamless co-op play, like you just mentioned, and the optimization of the game rather than some of the art. Was that more of the focus?
Yeah, and is that the difference from playing on a medium to a very high setting? Yeah.
I'm not disappointed, but I'm not wowed at the same time.
I agree. Yep.
All right. More to come in subsequent weeks, but that's where we are with Borderlands 4. I think we're giving it 2 thumbs up right now, and we're happy with it, and we're eager to see where it goes from here. Let's talk about a few gaming news items before we get out of your hair. Interesting tidbit that I picked up from Video Game Chronicles is that the PlayStation 5 Slim Digital Edition could be coming to Europe with less internal storage. This seems to be only affecting Europe in a cost-cutting way to sort of prevent further price increases. So the reduced capacity, the internal SSD storage, is reportedly being decreased from 1 terabyte to 825 gigabytes, which is the same size as the original launch PS5 consoles. Model affected. This change appears to only affect the PS5 Slim Digital Edition model, which is CFI-2100. And it's not expected on the PS5 Slim with the disk drive, which will retain its 1 terabyte of storage. And again, the reason for the change being reported is that downgrade is to cut production costs for the console and avoid further price increases in the European market, where prices have already risen. So I know
it's very odd. It's very odd going. It's an odd number, When I
was listening to Digital Foundry, they says Sony could be saving like $10 a machine. And I don't know if that adds up over time or if that's not even enough to move. Like, how many are they making of those? How many are they selling of those? Yeah. Because
it's like wherever you go, you get Newegg, Best Buy, any computer, you you don't see listed, 825 gigabyte. It always starts at 1 terabyte, And so it seems like they're making something special for this, which would be cost more than just getting standard off the shelf, 1 terabyte. Now, I don't know. Maybe these things are abundant somewhere, these 825 gigabyte drives. But
in this thing where it says the internal storage is being reportedly decreased from 1 terabyte to 825, which is the same size as the launch PS5. What they're trying to say there is the launch PS5 was 1 terabyte, but I think what you could use was 825, right?
Yeah.
So this will be 825, but you're only going to be able to use 666 gigabytes. Again, it's only impacting people in Europe so far. Digital Slim Edition. So this is, a small subset of a small subset, right?
Yes.
Moving on now, and these are a couple of these first stories where you'd file under the rumor category, Mark. PlayStation did not come out with this first news item and confirm this, okay? And this second one I would file under rumor as well. But Destin Legarie, who used to work at IGN, now has gone independent with his own YouTube channel, has a source who choose to remain anonymous, but provided him screenshots of displays being prepared, kiosk being prepared at Best Buy for the Xbox ROG Ally and the Xbox ROG Ally X, where the prices are listed at what we suggested, $549 for the smaller unit and $899 for the top tier unit. And he said he also called his Best Buy just as a consumer, hey, I want to buy this. And they said, this is the date it's coming out and the price, not available for pre-order yet. So he is going on saying that there will not be a price increase to tariffs. He did stipulate when he tweeted this out or put it on BlueSky that it could all change at the last minute with the economic situation, but everything that's being he's seeing on his end, especially the kiosk, he feels that there will be no bump in price. That it'll be $549 and $899. Thoughts, sir?
Yeah, this keeps going back and forth on what the price of these things is going to be. Yeah, I don't know. I guess proof is in pictures and so forth. So we'll see when it finally comes out and releases.
Now, the Lenovo has a bunch of handhelds that are coming out here in October. They are certainly pricey, especially if you're getting the 32 gigabyte. And the Lenovo says it's $1,100 handheld. We'll be getting the Xbox full screen experience mode that is coming to the ROG Xbox Ally. But they will not be getting that update until next year, sometime in 2026. Of course, when the ROG Xbox Ally releases on October 16th, that's going to be day and date with the full screen experience. So that gives you a little bit of time period that you can sort of maybe set expectations. Like, we have no confirmation of when our existing ROG Allies are going to be updated with the full screen experience. Do you think it'll be October 16th? Do you think it'll be next year? I think at any point, this is anybody's guess at this point, is what I'm trying to say. But Lenovo has confirmed it will not be day and date with the ROG Xbox Ally, that they are getting their update next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking here at the specs here for the one that's like the top tier, 32 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte, $1,479.
Yeah, they have a bunch of different flavors.
Wow,
who's buying those? How many could they be making? I mean, the Steam Deck is the most accessible, right? It's only sold 3 million. Mm-hmm. So everything after that is lower. Like how many? Like they. Is at this point, it's just about slowly getting market penetration to build up to mass consumer at some point down the road, 5-7 years down the road.
$1,479, you can get yourself it's not handheld, but you can get yourself a pretty decent, PC for that price.
Well, they would say this is too, that you could hook it up to your TV.
Well, that's yeah, true.
And the last story here, Max, sort of the opposite end of the spectrum. The Atari Gamestation Go is now up for pre-order. Okay? Take retro games everywhere you go, play over 200 console and arcade games, including arcade classic Balls of Steel and Pac-Man, and 5 games from Atari's Neo Retro Recharge series. An amazing 6 different controls are packed into this beautifully designed handheld. Paddle, trackball, D-pad, bumpers, you name it, it's there. Allowing you to play every game of controls it's designed for. Also features high-res 7-inch display, Wi-Fi connectivity, HDMI, USB-C ports, and rechargeable battery. Available for pre-order, sir. And this is for what, $179.99?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of this prior?
I have not. No, this is the first time I'm hearing of it. It looks pretty cool. I mean, $180. Okay, you get to play a bunch of your old, Atari games, your old arcade games on it, which is pretty cool. But with the right moves, you can do that with your Steam Deck or Ally also. I can see this being for someone, in their 50s, 60s. Man, I miss, Atari thing. Seeing it and being.
I mean, I could see you at the farm playing this,
Mm-hmm.
I assume there's going to be a storefront here that you can buy these games. It's not coming with 200 games, right?
No, I don't think so.
Right. It's not giving you 200 games, but it comes with some of the ones I read, and then there must be some sort of, storefront that you can buy the rest. I'm curious what those are priced at. But I could see you at the farm playing, Space Invaders and Asteroids and Pac-Man and other games. Centipede.
Good old Asteroids.
Centipede.
Mm-hmm. Space Invaders, I'm sure, will be on there at some point.
Yeah. 179 doesn't, I don't look at that number and go, wow, that's a lot. Wow, that's a little. It seems, when you read it, when you're just telling me about that other system, Matt, that's close to $1,500, and this is this is 179. But yeah, I'll be curious to see what the reviews are for it. If it's just, shovelware and the thing doesn't work right, or, but I think, Atari is making a comeback, and they are, not only putting out older stuff, but they have acquired, more modern studios. They've acquired Digital Eclipse, and they're putting out, their games now. So Atari is still here, and they are making a comeback. I'm
looking at here, are the things on the website, like the Atari 2600. you can get an old Atari 2600 again.
Mm-hmm.
Hats and shirts and stuff.
Never have enough hats. That blue hat doesn't look bad.
Don't look bad at all.
Yeah. All right. So we'll have to see if Matt pre-orders this to go along with his, increasing handheld collection.
I'll put it on my Christmas list for Santa.
That's not a bad Santa gift.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think maybe something Christmas time, a wife or girlfriend, something that could be a good Christmas gift for their husband or significant other, something.
It's going to be cozy season here soon. Whether you like it, whether you like it, I just got the grass overseeded and aerated, so I don't have to mow for the next 2 weeks, which is nice.
I haven't had to mow here for a while. It's so dry, the drought. Oof.
I wish it would rain so we could get some of this. I have to do some watering at night, just not like a ton of watering because you don't want to drown these seeds, but you just want to keep them moist, We'll see what happens with my grass. It is slowly coming back green because it's cool at night, but we have not had much rain here, and there's no rain in the next 10 days, which is bumming me out.
Yeah, same here. So dry.
So dry. So dry. Anything else you'd like to say and get off your chest before we leave here, Matt?
Nothing I want to say on air.
Okay. We will talk to you again in 2 weeks with more Borderlands 4, and as we inch closer to the Battlefield release, which comes out in October.
Yeah, sure.
And everybody pray to the PC gods that my upgrade to Windows 11 goes swimmingly.
It'll be fine. it's going to be sausage season here soon.